Hey, all you beautiful survivors, soul family. I had a situation today that I thought I would come on and share because I can guarantee you, if you are seeing this channel, you have difficult people in your life, or at least one specific difficult person in your life who really truly enjoys making your life a living hell, and they like to portray a good guy image or good girl image on the outside. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, off the surface, they are constantly creating conflict. I truly believe they thrive off of creating conflict. And I also believe that some souls have chosen to cut themselves off from source energy, divine energy, the way their soul was intended to be, and cut themselves off from their conscience and their intuition. Well, I keep saying intuition, but it's not really their intuition. Their intuition is actually very strong. They just use it for ill will and control and manipulation. I would say they're very highly intuitive, and especially depending on how old the soul is, they become really powerful in that intuition and know exactly what to say and do to get somebody. They're very calculated to get somebody where they want them, or a situation. They're always looking at the return on their investment. They don't do anything genuine, really. It's always something to gain for them, sadly. They do not seem to carry true compassion and empathetic qualities. Well, today I have to bite my tongue a lot. There are a lot of people in my circle that don't really know the truth of the situation and tend to believe the narcissist, and have never really actually asked to know my side of the story, and to people that were really close to me. And it's been really hurtful, and there's been a grief in losing those type of people as well. But I figure, God is purging negative people out of my life to make space for good. So I had to make peace with that. But today I was around a certain individual that believes the narcissist in my life is like just a god and just can do no wrong. And I had a conversation where we ended up kind of talking about something, and it was clear by the person's tone, it was very off-putting. A top of the conversation came up, and I said, I didn't know if you had heard this. And they said, oh yeah, I heard. And in a real off-putting way. And it made me kind of reflect. And I went home later, as I often do, and reflect. And it made me think, man, I really wonder what that person heard about the story. And I can guarantee you it wasn't true, whatever they heard. And I just was sitting with that, and I was really pissed off. I'm sick of biting my tongue. I'm sick of, and I'm to the point where I don't even care if you want to call me crazy. That's fine. If you want to call me crazy because I finally see and I'm willing to call you out on your BS, like, that's fine. So, but I don't know, how do you guys handle that? I have spent 8 years like kind of sitting quiet and silent, and I'm to a point with certain individuals that I feel like enough time has passed where the person knows me well enough in my heart, hopefully, that I just actually sent them a text to clarify, like, I don't know what you heard about the situation, but I just want you to know this is my side of the story, and what you heard is probably not true. And we have a common love for the person that this separate situation was about. Hard to explain. I don't want to be too personal with it, but I don't know about you, but I'm kind of just sick of being the good girl. I'm sick of being the people pleaser. I'm sick of not speaking my truth, and I don't really care if you want to call me crazy. If you want to call me crazy because I'm calling out BS, that's fine. Instead of looking at the abusive patterns, I can be the crazy one. That's fine. I do believe it is our God-given right to speak our truth and to get better at clearing our throat chakra in this earth, and not being the doormat and the people pleaser and be the crazy bitch. Like, I don't care. This is the truth of it. And then it's your responsibility to decide how you want to handle that knowledge. I said what I said, and I'm going to be respectful and kind as I say it, but and of course people don't want to hear it, because they spend a lot of time protecting the lies that they want to believe, and they don't want to look at the truth. It's really difficult for people to look at the truth, especially if it's somebody that they love, and to think that somebody might do those things. So I get it. I can be the fall guy, and I'm the bad one. It's easier. People can lose me over other people, and that's fine. I have myself, I have God, and that's all I really need, and I have my truth. And I don't know about you guys, but I think we're heading into a season where we need to give less fucks about how people perceive us and walk around in our confidence. And when we are presented with an opportunity to speak, I mean, I don't just go around texting everybody and calling everybody out on baloney that goes on with me. I have to keep so much hidden and close to my chest. But in this particular situation, the person gave a response that was very off-putting to me, and it was almost like a condescending, passive-aggressive tone towards me. And I just wanted to clarify my side, and it's not my responsibility to decide what that person should do with that information. It's their responsibility to reflect on that and pray on it and ask more questions if they need to and get clarity. But I'm going to guess it's not going to go well, and it's going to go opposite of what I want, but oh well. It is what it is, and in the end, I think truth is going to win. Maybe not in my lifetime, which sucks, but a lot of the healing from narcissistic abuse has to be in learning to be less of a people pleaser and more of a truth seeker and teller. And when we are given a God-given opportunity, and something rubs us the wrong way, and obviously I had been sitting on it and dwelling on it for hours and hours, I don't always feel called to share and correct someone. Like, I kind of, whatever, you believe that if you want, lady, or sir. But in this situation, it really bothered me. And I don't want people thinking certain things about me, and I hate when people misunderstanding me. And that was always been so hard for me in all this, because you do kind of have to you're the villain in someone else's story when you are abused, narcissistic abuse, or just asshole behavior, right? You're usually targeted as that because they see you as a threat, because you're willing to expose them. Exposure is like one of the number one things I know that narcissists hate. They hate the exposure. They spend so much time covering up things and lying and deceiving in the dark, and they're not who they are. They say, like, be who you are. Who you are in the dark should be who you are in the light, or something like that. Like, kind of like basically be who you are no matter what your surroundings is, and they aren't that way. So obviously exposure is a big threat to them, and when you finally see the truth, it's you're basically a walking target, and you have to accept that is the case. And you're going to lose people along the way, but if somebody's not willing to actually ask you your side of the story and care to know, or to want to even just kind of have their own intuition speak and discover it for themselves and ask questions and have their own free will and discernment and logic in the situation, that's on them. That you can't really control people, that way. But hopefully there will be a little nudge of nugget of truth somewhere in there that person will contemplate. And if not, that's okay too. I just wanted to come on here and just let you know I support you all in your journey. I know how hard it is to be the villain in someone's story. I'd be happy to be the villain in somebody's story if I actually was the villain. If I actually did do those things, I like to own it. Yeah, I did that. Like, yeah, I said that, like I'm out here saying, yeah, I sent a message, some messages to clarify something that went on because it bothered me, and had that person, it was their fault. They kind of had that off-putting reaction. They didn't look at me with neutrality, actually wanting to know my opinion. They kind of made a passive-aggressive remark, so that's on them, and technically they started it. So I just want you to know you're awesome. Keep speaking your truth and stand strong. And even if you aren't strong enough yet to speak it, write it. Do something, audio file it to yourself, write it out, burn and release letter, get it out of you and speak the truth to yourself. And you're not going to get the clarity and the closure from an abuser for sure, but you can give it to yourself. Okay, keep strong, keep speaking up, and don't dim your light. God gave it to you for a reason. Use it wisely. Bye. Oh, and if you want help with discovering if somebody in your life is more on the side of souls that chosen not to keep their connection to source alive, they actually have to take from their environment. They're kind of the energy vampires. They have to manipulate and control and lie. They have to do that in order to survive, because they've chosen to disconnect from spirit and their conscience. So if you want clarity on a certain person in your life to see if they actually are that type of soul, let me know. It's a soul quality test that I've created. It really helps me a lot in discerning if I'm not sure about a certain someone, or if something rubs me the wrong way, I can take the test, and like knowing their soul quality can really help me determine how much of myself I'm going to give to that person. And I was kind of also just kind of contemplating on, like those people just really do thrive off the conflict. They really get off on it, and they thrive in a sense that it gives their energy, their soul, more fuel. Whereas like if you're like me, it just drains me. It affects my health, my mental well-being, like my emotional well-being, my physical well-being. Like I get a lot of my health issues flare up when I go through like trauma from abuse. And so I'm working on that, trying to be whole and well and not like letting things really sink me down. But it is really sad. It is really sad because they really do thrive off of it. The chaos behind the scenes. They're like little, you know, tantrum toddlers that's telling toddlers having a tantrum, trying to get attention, even if it's negative. That's kind of how they act, you know, like little immature babies. So that's a side note, but keep trying to fight it and speak up when you need to, and up that self-care. Enjoy your beautiful weekend. Bye. Reach out to me at the zenZone@mail.com if you need help with that soul quality test or some coaching. Bye.